ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि। भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। My namaskars to you all who are listening this talk on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are deliberating verses from chapter number 12, Dwadasha Adhyaya. We have seen verse number 13 and 14. So this verse number 13, first two quarters of it we have seen. First half of it we have seen. And we would be following that discussion, taking it forward. So this verse reads, now it is narrating about the condition, the character, the state of mind attained by the devotee through the suggested practices in the previous verses. Starting from here, verse number 6, Etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. So what will happen if somebody does that? Mam dhyayanta upasate. So this is being the state of perfection, the ideal state attained by that devotee. So it reads in this way, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitraha karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukha sukha kshami. So we had considered these ideas in the last class, that how somebody can become Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, and not only that, he is not only tolerant, he is not only not being negative, he is equanimous like a friend, and not only of equanimous disposition, but also going further, he is compassionate and kind, karuna. So not only is adveshta, that absence of negativity called dvesha, that hatred, but he have that friendly composure, and not only that, he is also karuna. So all three stages. So he is at least adveshta to better people. He is like a friend, maitra, and still who does need it, he is also karuna, compassionate. So these words are very deep if we think this and try to see our own life through the prism of these words. You will realize its depth and breadth, that if somebody has to be true to these words, how thoroughly that person must be transformed. He must be established in that truth, and his this false identity of lower self must be completely effaced, and then firmly rooted. So he can become Adveshta Sarvabhutanam. And coming down again from that higher stage, when he sees that there are people who are still not free of this ignorance and suffering because of this ignorance, they might use some counsel of his which might be beneficial to relieve them from this suffering, to ameliorate their suffering. He is friendly towards them. Not only he does not have any hatred towards them, but he is friendly. And still further, the people who has no use of his guidance, advice, or wise words, he goes further, and instead of teaching them, he just does for them, and he is karuna for them. So these are the three different stages. So he becomes karuna. He is not teaching them spirituality or emancipation or liberation. He is maybe that ordinary individual. He is steeped in his ignorance, attached in his senses and sense objects, but he is kind towards them. He is adveshta toward the people who are hateful towards him. He does not have hate for them. The people who are on their path to spiritual liberation. He is friendly towards them, does not impose himself, that is the intention. Does not impose himself that this is my way, is the only way. He does not impose himself. And the people who does not even regard or are not equipped or poised to utilize his spiritual guidance or help, nonetheless he is kind towards them. He does not say that you are ignorant fool, you are considering this sensory world as the only truth, you do not know anything better. He is not. So we see in the life of saints, in the life of great people, these all three moods being manifested: Adveshta, Maitraha and Karunaha. And now Nirmama and Nirahankara. So these both conditions, Mama means Sri Ramakrishna has explained this, that he says me and mine is the only Maya. Ahanta and Mamata, this is the nature of Maya. And this exactly Bhagavan has used these words. Ahanta and Mamata. Mama means mine. Mamatva, this. So this belongingness, this possessiveness, this attachment and identification with people, person, objects, etc. It can be person, it can be object, it can be places, it can be moments, it can be situations, etc. Your identification with that. So, that it belongs to you, this is called mamata. So, this mamata, this word is considered something very highly regarded. That is Maki Mamata, isn't it? But strictly speaking, going by its etymological meaning, in Vedanta, it is not considered as virtue. It is not considered as virtue, it is considered as vice. Or at least, if not vice, it is considered as something which is impediment, something not contributing to liberation of the soul. It will not further the liberation of the soul. Considering something as mine. So this mamatva, so this is something which is external. Mamatva is external. External in the sense, if compared to ahamta, ahankara. So mamata has to, so like ahankara is also, it will be also expressed in your outer behavior, no question about that. And mamata also. But not only behavior, but that sense of it, the feeling of it, the mental modification itself. Now these which are generally the inner part, it is not the behavioral part, it is the inner part. So external behavior itself is not rogue or with faulty. So I have told this in our last class. The difference between the behavior of saints, of Jivan Mukta Paramhansa Mahapurush, is for that it can be Mahapurush, it can be a Stri also, but all the time this word Mahapurush is only used. Hardly anybody says Mahadevi. Because it is not about the gender. It is not about the gender of the person, whether that person is, somebody is a man or woman. Huh? So, even sannyasis also, there were no gender-wise name for women sannyasis. Not necessarily. Then, because again you are giving importance to body. So, sannyasa means rejection of this idea. So, even if it is so, name is given to demolish your idea of what you have been clutching onto until now. That's why name is given. So, see, Sri Ramakrishna's Guru's name is Totapuri. Now, Puri is Sampradaya's name. He is Guru, Totapuri's Guru gave him name Tota. Try to understand this. Just Tota. There is no Ananda, this, that, nothing, something inspiring. Okay, it is not something off chance. His brother disciple's name is Maina. His brother disciple was Mainapuri. He is Purush only. He is not some female person, isn't it? Mainapuri was another Paramahansa. He is Totapuri's brother. Brother disciple, not brother. Guru Bhai. So, what you will feel yourself about Tota? They will give name of anything. He can give name of Tota, he can give name of Lota. What is there? Some name has to be there just to call you. And name has to be such that you do not again identify with itself. To break this chain, that's why a new name is given. So forget everything. You are supposed to forget itself that you are body. Forget about then male or female or your jati, kula, vansha, gotra. Forget that. So Totapuri or Mainapuri or whatever something. If he is kind, he is giving some good name. That is too much. He may not feel like any fruit name he might give. Now, so this idea of mamatva, so first this idea of mamatva. So why I said that it is something external? Because more fundamental to it is the idea of ahanta, ahankara. This word you try to understand, this word is very beautiful. If you see word ahankara. Okay. I have cited this example. Okay, suppose. So, speaking in the terms of, suppose, geometry and shapes. Okay. Akara. Okay. If I say something golakara, that vastu is there. Okay. That you bring to me, golakara. Okay. If you bring something else, then I will say, whether this looks something spherical to you. I said spherical. Bring golakara. which has to be have shape of gola, a sphere. Dandakara, which is like a danda, a segment, okay, which is in straight line, something which is not a spherical. Trikonakara, which has to have a triangle shape or square shape, then chaukonakara, etc. word would be used. Similarly, now in this light, if you see this word ahankara, it would mean that something which has the shape of aham, which appears like aham, which is similar to aham. That means aham is something and ahankara is something else. Isn't it wonderful? And aham means me, and ahankara, it would mean that something which appears like me, which has the shape of me. Shape of me. It means, so in this case, that means me might be totally separate from the one which is appearing, having shape of me. Ahankara. So this makes the distinction between a great Jivan Mukta Mahapurusha, Paramahansa Mahapurusha, and ordinary person. In which case ego is effaced, this ahankara is completely merged, has become one with the true I. So it is not clouded. So ahankara will tell or denote or suggest if it is prominent and dominating and overlapping that, obstructing that knowledge of true I. And what will appear then? It will project then that this body is me, this body is real, therefore its birth is real, my parent is real, jati, gotra, kula, mana, vansha, everything is real, therefore its swartha is real, therefore yogakshema is real, therefore my yogakshema is real, therefore vasana is real, vasana is real, therefore karma is real, karma is real, therefore karma phala is real, sansara is real, prapancha is real. With this ajnana, everything will ensue. Whole prapancha will ensue. And if this spirituality, the truth, the crux, the base, the ideal, the epitome of it, that this is negation of this Jagat Mithya. If this is achieved, then this would be realized, Brahma is Sat, Brahma Satya. That I am Atma, Aham Atma, Brahma. This would be realized. If this would be realized, then this becomes meaningless, this becomes the play of shadows. Then nothing of this world has any much more meaning. Nirahankara. If ahankara is not there, then my swartha is not there, then mamatva does not have any place to stand. If you are not there, then what is yours? If I am there, then something is mine. If I am not there, then where will mine stand? Okay, suppose we are 4 people, 4 friends. Every day we go to restaurant and he offers our snacks or tea or something. and one day one friend is not there, then what will say? So whether that person will come? No, he is not coming today. So that plate is not served because he is not there, his portion is not there. You are not there, yours is not there. I am not there, mine is not there. So Nirankara, Ahankara is not there, Mamata cannot exist. Mamata exists because of Ahankara. And this is the prime, this is crux of every emotion of ours. Our all emotions, they are based of ordinary people. They are rooted in our ahanta because it translates into mamata. Our correlation to something, and that's how our emotion proliferates. That's how they gain weight and strength. In my very beginning classes of Bhagavad Gita, I had brought up this question: can you define emotions? As principally as possible, as concise as possible, and as comprehensive as possible. What is emotion? The basic unit of emotion. What is emotion? So definitely it is mental modification because it is experience in the domain of mind. So definitely it is manovrutti. There is no question about that. Yes, definitely there is no question about it. It is a vritti. What is essential? Now second thing is, everything becomes emotion. Even a small thought, when it has become that before getting and garnering any intensity, any weight, any momentum, and any much coverage, its influence, even a simple thought which has a potential to become a storm of emotion. This is one idea into it. This idea of co-relatability, the ahankara, comes to play a big role into it. It has to be ahankara, I, and then only you can feel surge of emotion. There are many such situations, like objectively, suppose watching some movies, okay, how you might feel emotional. Suppose in a drama you are seeing, okay, a family drama is there, or maybe of love, maybe of anything else, of different kinds of scenarios. So, and you see, and there are scenes, and then you are very emotional, you feel like crying. Now those scenarios, those ideas, they overwhelm you. This is a different kind of experience, and this generally does not influence, when objectively seen, much of your behavior, है ना? तो ऐसा सीन चल रहा है, जिस बेटे को माँ बाप ने बहुत मेहनत करके पढ़ाया, हाँ, so he is driving them out and you feel very sad, okay, overwhelming, that emotionally charged, they slowly build up that scenario, that scene, and with that some kind of expectancy, some kind of fear, and this is emotional cooking, and you apprehend that, you feel logically this should not happen, and it is happening, and that it overwhelms you, your mental the capacity to take it, and you feel surcharged and you react in that way. Many places you are very suppose dignified person. You expected that you would be treated very nice way, but it turns out to be totally different scene, and then you are not able to digest. You might become angry, or you might become totally disappointed, dejected, even might run away and cry. Any kinds of scenario it can become when it is totally unexpected, when there is a build up, when there is a, and so people who are rather more rational, who do not invest into it, that how I would feel, how I would experience that scenario if it goes this way. They are not investing in this way, and they are rather skeptical whether they will give us so much respect. I doubt that. So these people does not feel now any more emotion. He is ready to tackle it. He is not paying enough his due. He will try to squeeze it. That why you are behaving like that me? Why I am not accorded this kind of courtesy, etc., etc., etc. So they are ignoring him. He is also becoming shameless, right? And he does not feel emotion. But the person who is expecting, he becomes extremely emotional, either frustrated, either angry, or totally disappointed, humiliated, because he could not turn it the way he expected. He could not turn the situation the way he should be cajoled, pampered, or he should have felt. So his emotional expectation that I would feel nicely, and that is totally turned down, and that unexpected, that return of it, he is not able to now come to terms with that emotionally overcharged situation, and he is not able to handle it, and then he reacts in that way. Either of the three, feeling of anger, frustration, dejection, despondency, or like this crying, etc., etc., etc. So everything is built on expectation, right? Expectation. And expectation is again with relation to you, or at least it is your expectation. If it is not even related to you, it is your expectation, because you have like put the bet on that speculative trade that this share will reach that point, and it doesn't. And it doesn't. You just do that. You feel that if this happens and it would be very nice, I would feel very nice. It would be very nice. And somebody turns it down, and you feel totally trampled upon. You feel like that. This is the story of all emotion. Do you have any exception to this story? I would be welcome to hear it. If there would be any exception which would be falling out of this template, your reaction is because your overcharged situation, your bet, which is feeling that you are not able to handle it, so one way or other you react it. Irritation, anger, whatsoever way. Some people might extremely get shocked, they might die. Some people might able to so much that they can go crazy. Some people might completely become frustrated, they might commit suicide. Something, one thing, one way or other. The fellow in anger might kill someone. Some people might get completely broken down that they will never come out of it and become completely paralyzed, etc., etc., etc. The story of emotions. Because of your displeasure, in anticipation, you have betted, and that trade does not go that way. All right. So, nirmama nirahankara. So, this ahankara and this mamata. So, he attains Swamiji said at one place, this short sentence is there. I do not exactly remember the now which part, which volume. So he says, be perfectly hopeless. Be perfectly hopeless. Hopeless, hope. So, asha. Asha hi paramam dukkham. So this expectation becomes the source of your misery. You work, but do not try to bet so much upon it that it will only turn your way. It may not. It may not. And when it doesn't, then it makes you excessively emotional. Emotions, and then other counterpart of it is called as passions. So passions are generally groomed by the individual within himself over a certain premise with a certain objective, that I will go this way I will achieve that. Passionate about something. So many times people, similar situation, so much investment of his mental self into it, and with that huge expectation of once I realize that, and anything impediment to it, it will be a terrible clash. Emotions. So your ahanta and mamata, that you build this, what you call mine, because which is conducive and favorable and which is pleasing, sukha karak to you, sukha anushayi ragaha. So where you expect this sukha, so this raga, attachment, will develop. You cannot leave it. And so much you invest upon it that this trade will give me profit. I will not withdraw, how much ever it may fall. And as much it falls, you feel that now at this point, if I give it up, I would rather go into loss, because it might start rising up once again. So you are like buying more into it, and this is called as the concept of sunken cost. You invest, although you are humiliated, although you are, dejected and various way, you invest yourself more and more into it. The concept of sunken cost. You are not letting it go, that this cannot be revived. You are not taking a judgment, a decision there. So, mamata, when it is formed this identification that this is mine, you want to clutch that attachment, you want to hold on to. You lose yourself into it. You invested so much into it, mamata. People are ready to sacrifice their everything for this mamata. Anything. Mamata. And not only that, many times it becomes such a trap of leading to misery. And ironical thing is, many times individuals, they think it's a mark of greatness. I have seen families coming to ruin because of this misplaced understanding of mamata. सारा महाभारत देख लो. धृतराष्ट्र की ममता दुर्योधन के प्रति. कि उसको मैंने कितने, I am witness to so many families, how people due to this weakness they develop, due to this emotional binding or in fear of emotional repercussion, if they do not go in a certain way in front of, suppose, wife, in front of children, in front of other relatives, one way or other, even wife may suffer because she might disappoint her husband. That husband becomes more probably servile because wife might. This example is becoming more and more terrible. And other party, it is like you are feeding a monster, trying to appease it, thinking that it will not become angry. But as you feed the monster, it is growing up on your own blood and it wants more. So terrible. So this ultimately, in all this respect, so these emotions, these passions, and this decision, you are everywhere in any case. What you are pursuing is pleasure and joy. You are pursuing that peace and that happiness. This pursuit of happiness, and you are betting upon this speculative trade, that it will go your way, that it will become profitable. And where rationally you are seeing there is very lesser and lesser possibility, still you, as if a trapped person, you are investing into it again and again. So only to break this chain is to come to devise, invent and train yourself in a newer channel of learning to be happy in other way. Unless you do that, unless you invest into it, you are not going to be free of this trap ever. You require happiness. You require happiness to survive. In Taittiriya Upanishad, this wonderful passages comes. So, one by one, this kosha viveka is given. So, their question comes. Kena jatani jivanti. Jatani means the one which are born, which are formed, which are created. Jata. Ja means janma. Ta, that is past tense, which are born. So means all beings. Jivanti, by what they live. This is the language. This is the language. By what all beings live. This question is asked. How wonderful question. That somebody is asking this question, this itself is very mesmerizing. By what all beings live? This question is asked. And one by one, they are, discussing this idea of different koshas, different layers. And negating one by one. Ultimately coming to the conclusion that you live by that Atman only. That true happiness is that in where that Atman reflects. What is happiness? When your mind is less distracted. It is flowing in, all your thoughts are flowing in one direction. Your concentration is achieved. And in that stage, Atman reflects that which it might be, therefore, in general, sukha or dukkha. That's why I have said to you earlier, that why sukha lasts very little and dukkha persists for long, because dukkha has one advantage. As in the case of sukha, which is very distractive and you become extrovert, in dukkha, you become introvert and there is less distraction. Therefore, your mind is more concentrated. Therefore, that Atman is reflected more, and that's why it becomes more addictive. Dukkha becomes more addictive. So it can be humiliation, it can be defeat, it can be loss, it can be something like that, which is, if it is not prodding you to the action and you are only gravitating and confining yourself into that stream, and that if that concentration is achieved more and more, that's why people commit suicide or they become crazy, because like in whirlpool, they are traveling deeper and deeper into it. And that's why it becomes very difficult for them to come out of it. Because there is no one. So that's why many times in the time of grief, etc., people come, they ask what they do. They are becoming almost half crazy. I always suggest them to go and do good to others. Do karma yoga, do seva yoga. That is both way beneficial. It will earn punya. It will set you into motion. It will bring that necessary distraction in a right, positive, constructive way. It will also earn that punya. And it will also achieve something in this empirical world, in this realistic world, something good. That's why do seva. So, sukha and dukkha, therefore, there is something which is called ananda, which is the Atman, the nature of Atman itself, which expresses in that intense sukha or intense dukkha. Therefore, sukha, which is not extrovert, which is obtained within, inside, independent of all these dependencies of people, person, instances, moments, or any kinds of hetu, purposes, instances, etc. And if it is free of it, then it has maximum possibility to sustain if you can just do not disturb it. That is Satvika Sukha, that is Adhyatmik Sukha. That's what we seek. That is the crux of this training called meditation. This Anushasan called Yoga. Atha Yoganuशासनम. ये योग नाम का अनुशासन अभी आपको बताया जा रहा है. दिस इज द फर्स्ट सूत्र ऑफ पतंजलि's Yoga Sutra. First aphorism. So yoga, this discipline called yoga, is training yourself to seek, to channel, to learn, to divine this new way of attaining happiness independent of these all dependencies of the world. Become independent of sensory data, become independent of people, become independent of places, times, causes, instances. तो हो सकता है तुम दिवाली को ही हैप्पी हो, और somebody is happy only on Holi. You want something or other cause. Rather, if you are always happy, forget about the causes. So that would be wonderful. You want this, then you can become happy. You are always miserable because you are dependent upon it. You are slave to it. Be free of it, then you are always happy. If you can train, and yoga says this is the training we are talking about. Getting rid of your dependencies. And so distraction, your desire and action which makes you extrovert, if these are, so ahankara is not there, so desire is not there, vasana is not there, and therefore karma is not there. So giving them up, even hypothetically, at least when you are sitting in for meditation, just for that time being, that I am Brahman, I am not this deha, buddhi, chitta, mana and its vikara and all its permutation combination, and focusing on that truth, even at just for that moment, you are training yourself. All that time, if you become sincere and honest for that moment, and if you just do not clutch onto it, just withstand, attain that stillness, do not clutch and do not run after it. Slowly, slowly, you would be training your mind bit by bit, grain by grain, to hold itself in its own state. Swamiji says in simple, so meditation is bringing back that focus of mind on itself. This is how Swamiji defined meditation. In 4th volume of complete works of Swami Vivekananda, there are few essays which Swamiji had given lecture on West. Ida Ansel has recorded that. So they are wonderful. So 3 essays continuously. One of the essay name is Meditation Itself. So you may read it. So this is how the absence of mamata and ahanta will lead to sama dukkha sukha. Dukkhe sukhe samata. This equanimity in the terms of sukha and dukkha, it will only be reached because these are sukha and dukkhas, as Swamiji says, they are like reaction, they are like response to something, some stimuli. It happens because of ego. Because your correlation, its bearing upon you, it is your reaction and interpretation, it's your valuation and judgment that you are passing, that verdict you are passing, that you are either sukhi or dukkhi. The person who has given this claim up on this false identification, false self, then he does not have to indulge himself into it. And he might say, these things are redundant, irrelevant for me. It's okay. Things are happening. Somebody is saying bad words to me. Somebody is saying very nice words about me. It's okay. These things are now immaterial for me. So, sama, dukkha, sukha. And that person, this last word, that is Shami, that is who has this forgiving nature. He can forgive everyone, whatsoever. If anything he has done to him or to others or to himself. So this karuna, this kindness is there. And that's why seeing this as a play in the evolution of that consciousness in that being, so whatsoever might be his action. So this Kshami, or that the one of this forgiving nature, this pardoning nature, that is all right. So he is not taking any offense. Neither to him, neither that in offense itself. Howsoever crude, wild, gross and evil his act might be. Wonderful world. Wonderful idea. However evil that act may be. Kshama. Now you say, if you compare now Bhagwan Sri Krishna's life, whether he was so kind to everyone, he was not, then what do you say? Because, like suppose Shishupal, takes example of suppose Shishupal. Okay. He abused him so many things. He said that he had promised his mother that he will forgive his 1000 or 100 sins, something like that. And he reminds him, Shishupal. Shishupal is also relative of Bhagwan Krishna. Probably his mama or something. So he was born with some extra pairs of hands and legs. Shishupal. So his mother was very upset, and she was praying to God and rishis and sadhus. So somebody who told her, I do not recall, that there would be a person in whose lap, if you put your child, his extra pairs of feet and hands will fall off by themselves. But remember, that child would be killed by the hands of the same person. Remember this. So he would bring death to that child. So it happens so, when Krishna visits her, she places her child in his lap and his hands and feet drops up, Shishupal's, and his mother is happy at one instance and at the same time very agonized that Krishna would be the cause of his death, Shishupala's death. So she plentifully pleads to him that you promise me. He says, if that is the destiny, what can I do? That how can I override somebody's word? I have no intention, I have no desire to kill your child. But I have not seen the future, how it would be. So, if somebody has said to you like that, now to promise me in this way that I will not kill your child, how should I do that? So, I have no right, I have no power. So she then Krishna suggests that I can say that If situation comes like that, I promise I will forgive his so many 1000 probably his misadventure or what you say, his errors, faults, or mistakes, or his crime, you can say, that he will pardon, he will not consider them. And that happens when in that sabha, Shishupala starts abusing him. Krishna. He warns him, see, you have reached the limit now. If you say one more time, I would be compelled to take your life. You have reached 999. Do not cross any further. Or you have reached 1000. Do not cross any further. If you do that. But that was his destiny. He again says something. And Krishna then sets off his Sudarshan Chakra to behead him. So Krishna very hardly he has used Sudarshan Chakra in any normal instances. He has not instance used it. But this fellow, he said he leaves Sudarshan Chakra on him. Shishupal. So Kshami, many times. So if there is a kindness in the heart of the individual, even a punishing king, he can absolutely do without any malice. Without any malice. Without any ill feeling. Just because he must do, and that would cause his well-being only of that individual. That punishment is like that. Even if it is death. Sama dukkha sukha kshami. It is only possible for such person whose this ego, this ahanta is completely effaced. Completely effaced. So nirmama nirahanka sama dukkha sukha kshami. These are the words. How beautiful words. As much you meditate upon it, so time can go on and on. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitraha karuna evacha. Nirmama nirahankara. Here nirmamo or nirmama. So nirmama ha visarga is there. In sandhi it will appear as nirmamo. So both are correct. If you say nirmamaha, that is right. Nirmamo, that is also right. So, but in chanting, is as much it is good as you read as it is. So nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukhakshami. So this is the nature, the character, the evolution, and that epitome of that state, of that being, of that devotee, who is thus engaged himself, etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha. So this is how it should manifest. Ananyena eva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. है ना क्लास 7 तारीख को क्लास होगा शाम को अगले संडे